And our third panelist for today is Mr. Boluwatife Adepoju, and he would be having this conversation from the perspective of education, and he would be relating education with change, particularly the question of whether education actually translates into meaningful change in people's life and even in our society. So, Mr. Stephen will be reading Mr. Bolu Adepoju's citation.
Thank you very much, Toming Singh. Thank you very much. Mr. Bolu Adepoju is a leadership strategist, executive coach, and an organizational development consultant. He's the founder of Leaders Coven, a global leadership development community developed dedicated to raising intentional leaders and helping young professionals, young people maximize their potential through structured learning, monthly online retreats, and meaningful conversations on identity, influence, relationships, impact, and societal change. A first-class computer science graduate of FUTA and a recipient of PICFI and NMDC scholarships. Mr. Bolu is driven by his deep passion for innovation, personal growth, and social impact. While on campus, he served as the General Secretary of the Joint Christian Campus Fellowship, the largest Christian student community with over 2,500 members, and led a team of students to develop a biometric attendance system for university halls. He's also the co-founder of Climax Books, a startup improving access to books and learning resources, and also the author of Getting 300 Plus in JAM, a guide that has helped over 100 students gain admission into tertiary institutions. Through Leaders Coven, it creates spaces where individuals develop systems of consistent high performance and learn to drive sustainable change. Ladies and gentlemen, can we celebrate Mr. Bolu Adepoju? Thank you very much, sir, for joining the call.
Thank you very much, Steven. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
That's Mr. Bolu. Thank you so much. We are happy to have you here to serve. All right, Mr. Bolu. We are growing to the art of tonight's conversation gradually. So my question to Mr. Bolu now is, a lot of us grew up believing that getting education would automatically translate into a better and thriving life more than our parents had. That is when I was growing up. I don't know if I was the only one. I used to think that by age 20, I should be done, 2021, I should be done with uni. And by 22, I should get a very good job. And after that, I would be earning more big money. I will build house for my mom, then build house for my dad. Then I get married, and my kids start going traveling out, and I'll travel. I had very, very funny imagination. I was even saying that by 25 I should have like my own jets, because there was this game we used to play as a kid that I really so I don't know if I was the only one. So we grew up believing that once you go to school, that's all. You don't need any other thing. That's the only thing we need. However, we are facing the reality now, and I know quite a number of us know the reality. So my question to you, Mr. Bolu, is after graduating, after getting educated, and after having all of this, with your experience with most Africans today, do you really think getting certificates without getting the kind of change education promises us is fair? Or do you think education equates getting a better life? Or what exactly do you think we are missing out? What exactly do you think is wrong? I mean, why is our dream of having G-Wagon at 22, 23 not coming to pass? What do you think we are getting wrong, or what do you think we need to fix? Do you get my question, Mr. Bolu?
Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Confirm that you can hear me very well.
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. You see, your thoughts are not unique to you alone. And first, I would say that the idea that education makes you successful, I think it was passed down from the past generation. And I can give you a little bit of historical context to it. Nigeria was colonized by the British. And if you look at the context very well, many Nigerians look to the British master as the icon of success. I mean, the best thing you can aspire to is your master. And who is your master? This man from England, educated, speaks English, can he can speak nice words. He knows how to manage people, and the only way you can be like him is to go to school, right? So the model of success that is passed down is that go to school, you learn a bunch of stuff, so you can be like the supposed successful man. And that thought, that idea of success as education has been passed down from generation to generation. Even generation of families that are very wealthy. So your dad can be very wealthy, your dad can be a power, but he was not educated. Rather than putting you through how to make money and become successful in financial terms, he will focus more on sending you to the best school so that you can be like one of the English masters. And that's a flaw in our history. And I would say that even when I was growing up, the idea of success was that, like, if you read your books, your shoe can sound Coca. I don't know how many words. I mean, let's do that song. Like, your shoe will sound Coca if you read your books. So the only way to appear successful or to become a successful person is to actually read your books. There was no other alternative. But I can tell you that the failure is not really education. The failure is the school system. So we need to just shoes now. Yes, we're doing the shoes now. The failure is not really education. The failure is the school system we designed to deliver education. Let me illustrate that further. See, the school system was designed to impart education to people. So let's first design what's education. So I didn't just draw my reference from the dictionary. I'll draw my reference from one of the most intelligent men in the world, like we very Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein said that education is a training of the mind to think. So if you say education is the training, don't forget it's a training. It's not that you're born with it. Nobody is born with education. Education is coming to a structured system to train your mind how to think. So if that's the purpose of education, how many graduates are we producing today can think or have been trained to think? The answer is few. And why is it few? It's few because the system we designed was not based on objectives. When the education system as a school was designed to impart education to people, we left out the objective. We just focused on copying and pasting what we saw in other countries. So today you have an education system, we have courses that don't even address it like a strong problem in our nation. We have a lot of courses that we don't have jobs for because we're not designing our educational system with intentionality. We're just trying to copy and paste what looks like success. I mean, this is a structural problem behind our economic challenges in this nation. We are not a productive nation because we got educational system wrong. So, what's the objective of education? In my understanding, the objective of education is two things. Number one is to elevate the mind, like one of our panelists has said already. For you to have an educated, or let me say an enlightened population, you need to send them to you need to send them to school. Let me just put it that way. A structure where they can learn to think. Like in Nigeria, you can see Nigeria is very disorganized. Everything is just like jam, jam, jam. People like just look at traffic. Just go to a traffic where there is a traffic light and remove the policeman and see how Nigerians will behave. To see that we need a lot of work with our mind. So the first objective of education is to elevate the mind. Help us learn how to think. Help us learn how to view life. Help us learn how to approach life, approach problems. The second objective of education is to impart skills to solve problems. One of the reasons we can't solve many of our problems today is because we don't have the skills. You see, Nigerians are graduating mechanical engineering, civil engineering, biochemistry, computer science. They do not have any skill to solve a real life problem. And you say they've gone to school. You said like they've gone through an education system. These two key things are one of the biggest problems in our education system. Our education system is not elevating people's mind. So people are leaving school, they still think like people in the village. Like they say, approach life like someone in a village, and he's not imparting skill to solve real life problems. So who are coming out of school, they're supposed to be a structured system for education, and they can't solve problems. They can't fix things. Like that's one of the biggest flaws of our education. And because of this, we've created a lot of gaps in the economy. So, first of all, must understand what defines economy. Economy is defined by, is designed around law of demand and supply. Finance flow towards law of demand and supply. For you to have money, you must provide value. And for your value to be really valuable, it must be in demand. So I could have studied zoology. If nobody needs zoology, I will not have money flowing in because nobody needs it. There's no demand for it. So there can't be a supply of resources. So that's the same way our educational system has been shortchanged. A lot of things foundationally, as regards even the design of the education system, design of the courses, and the effectiveness of the courses in imparting the right knowledge and right skills has failed a lot of Nigerians. So now we are going to school, but we deceive ourselves. A lot of us deceive ourselves. We look around, you see your parents making money, you see people around you making money, you see what they are doing to make money, and you know that you are just going to school to climb and pour. How do you think by the time you graduate, that climbing and pouring will convert to money? Like, just tell me, how do you think the things you know convert to money? Like, who is going to pay you for this? I mean, these are the real questions we need to ask ourselves. Don't deceive yourself. We don't need to deceive ourselves anymore. What I'm doing in school cannot make me money. All the bunch of stuff I've learned, like a bunch of things I've crammed, cannot make me because nobody cares. People really care about someone that can solve their problem. So they ask, what can you do? Not just what you know. What can you do? Can you solve these our problems? Because in the real marketplace, people want those who will add value to them, not those who will come and learn. So that's one thing one of my mentors told me that some days ago. He said, people don't employ people to come and learn. They employ people to come and solve their problems. So, and through school, a lot of people do not know, or they pretend to not know that many of the things that are being taught in school are not actually useful. Let's even leave the education system and how flawed it is. Let's focus on ourselves. A lot of people understand that this thing do not convert, but we just stick to it because of the idea that okay, all I need is a first class. Good to have a first class. It's important to have a first class. It opens a lot of doors. But I won't lie to you. Like if you actually want to convert education to real life impact in the way we want it, success, like branding, like solving real life problems, impact, we really need to pay attention to ourselves. And education can be designed. You don't have to go to school to be educated. You can design your education. You can design how much you need to know. Even if you have graduated, there's no limit to education. It's not late to learn new things, to learn new skills, to read new books. And at the end of the day, let me just round up by saying that what matters is our intention, is our choice. Nobody can, let's say that you can take a horse with water. You can't force the horse to take water. At the end of the day, we can design our life by our own choices. And our education is in our hands to make the most of it. I just hope I'll be able to touch on a few things that you asked me on. I won't stop here because of time. Thank you so much.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Mr. Bolu. Now I can see if I had taken my education into my hands, I guess I would have built my first house by now. Yeah, I could have gotten my mom that Lambo by now. Thank you so much, sir. What really stood out for me was the fact that education is a training. And it's not even about the failure of, it is not even about graduating. It's about how you can use what you've learned to solve a particular problem in your society. And the flaw is not in our history, the flaw is in our system. The flaw is not in education, it is in our system. Thank you so much, sir. This is this is this is deep. Yeah, this is deep. So because of our time, we'll be moving very, very quickly to the second round. Sabolu, there is often a big gap between what's taught in the classroom and the actual problems people face once they give it. I mean, the reality is unemployment, unclear career paths, system that does not reward what schools are prepared for. Where do you think this gap came from? Or what do you think is the origin of this gap, and how can we fix it? Mr. Abulu?
Yeah, thank you very much, Tomisin. I really appreciate this question. The real gap is the design of our education system. I mean, it's not something complex to do because these days it doesn't take all the wealth in this world to start a school. So when we say design education system, it's not as though we want to go to where you see and design the whole thing. Many of us here can actually start changes in a little way. So what I'm trying to say is this. Like I said in the earlier conversation, that one thing about education system is that it's not designed around objectives. Like first thing is that what are we trying to achieve with our education system? Once we are clear, then we know, okay, how does this thing need to evolve? Right. So what are the things we need to put in place? Okay, to if as about elevating people's mind and also ensuring that they are imparted with skills that translate into problem solving, real life problem solving in the real world. Which so if that is a key component of our objectives, I mean in the next 5 years, a skill that is useful today will not be useful tomorrow. So we can cut away. But because we don't have any objective, there's no reason why many schools today are not even teaching AI integration. Many schools today are not teaching like the trending skills in our world because they don't actually know why they exist. So I mean the first thing is getting our design right. See, if we get the design right, many youths, even if they don't have a plan for their life, by the time they are leaving school, they will not struggle to find a job because somebody has thought ahead of them and ensure that the system is designed to help them get like find their footing in life. I mean, the design is just wrong. You know, people are going through school, they don't know that this school system is a failed system. We just don't know until we get this. Since by the time we get it, what the hell is my 5 years? Honestly, you like going to work, you have to start all over again. Many people are just employ graduates because you say graduates are more organized. It's not as though they expect them to know more. You train them on their own. So the system is a failed system. Let's not lie. But one of the challenges of the system is also that we don't have quality assurance mechanism in Nigeria. See, the truth is that let's take for example a mechanical engineering student. By the time you graduate, at least you have some skills, car repair, or like if you actually go to a proper mechanical engineering training, you should have skills that can make you money. But the way those courses are taught, you know that you will not get any skill. So lackadaisical attitude from lecturers, lot of classes will not hold, practical will not hold. Like, and you are coming out with first class. You know that so many of the classes will not hold. Many of the practicals will not hold. So we have poor quality assurance. There's no way to checkmate how whether your lecturers are actually teaching you the right thing, whether your school is actually teaching you the right thing, whether you are actually coming out with the right skills. Nobody is checking. They just assume that your exam and what you got is satisfying enough to make you, value with the economy. So where we got it wrong is the design. And design around objective and ensuring that we have a quality assurance mechanism. If anybody can establish any school like this, okay, you are very clear on the objective, imparting skills for problem solving, and you have a proper quality assurance in place to ensure that people are actually coming out with what you planned, checking them even through school, testing them with correct metrics, and checking their guidance record after they left school. Are they actually finding jobs and then refining? I think we'll fix it. That's what I think. Thank you very much. I hope I was able to answer the question.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So I can relate to the aspect of the attitudes of lecturers, the fact that, and I would like to shift this in. Quite a number of people went to school, they graduated with good grades, but they can't even defend what they studied because the system in Nigeria has failed us. I mean, we are not experiencing the real thing. We don't even know what we are doing in the real sense of it. We just know it at the surface because there is no really practical, the practical aspect of education in Nigeria is very, very low. So thank you so much, sir, for that insight. One thing that I learned and that I will be taking away from your answer is that we should get a skill that can make us money. So I should get a skill that is related to my field that can make me money after school. Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Blue, I want you to give a summary to everything you have been saying or everything we have been discussing. But it's I want it to be tailored towards this. If you had to point to one example where education genuinely translated into real life, into real tangible change and a community and a system that works, what would this be? And what made that particular case actually works when so many others don't? So what I am saying is that if you can paint a scenario of maybe a particular situation where education translated into real and tangible change, and what makes this scenario particularly different from every other scenarios? What do you think was done better?
Yeah, thank you very much to listening. I'll just round off by saying this. One of the biggest problems we have is leadership. Our leadership in this country not prioritizing education. By the time we have a leader that prioritizes education, that models education, everything is going to change. And to answer the question, I will point to Awolowo. Awolowo in the 1960s was the original leader of the Southwestern region. And what the Awolowo did, Awolowo made education free for all. Education was free for everybody, and he invested in it. Look at what we did with the cocoa money. He built cocoa house, and he poured a lot of money into building new schools, into setting up training centers for teachers, into ensuring that a lot of people, even if their level of poverty, went to school. I mean, none of my parents benefited from that. Like honestly speaking, my dad would say that if not for that system, it might not have gone to school. So there's a system that works, and it's leadership modeling education. That's how we ourselves can change our society. Let's be models of education. Let's be ambassadors of the possibilities of education, and let's help guide people into understanding how to maximize education, because a lot of people can get carried away into thinking that education is limited to school. Education is not limited to school. And I want to encourage everyone on this question to be ambassadors of the possibilities of education by modeling it in our lives and by putting our resources where our money, putting our money where our mouth is. Like, not just talking it, but investing in one person. No, if you can sponsor a child through school, do it. If you can help support someone through education, do it. If you can pay for someone's training, do it. Because at the end of the day, real education will deliver a educated mind, and a mind that can solve with skills that can solve real life problems. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much. I hope I was able to answer the question.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that insight. So, for everyone on this call, we have to be a model, a good ambassador for the possibilities of education. Thank you so much, Mr. Abu, for that.